Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the LifeVision Lab podcast, where we explore what it really means to move from chaos to clarity and live a life that feels deeply aligned. Thank you for tuning in, for showing up for yourself, and for being part of this growing community that's all about living with purpose, peace, and personal power. Today's conversation is one I've really been looking forward to because it speaks directly to something so many of us, especially women, experience in midlife. That quiet question that whispers inside of us, is this all there is? When life feels full but somehow not fulfilling, when we've spent years taking care of everyone else and we suddenly realize we've been running on empty battery. That's where today's guest comes in. Heather Stewart is a transition facilitator and a life coach who helps women in midlife learn to navigate the demands of life, keeping themselves replenished and create the lives that truly makes their heart sing. Her philosophy is simple but very powerful. The most selfless thing you can do is keep your own well full so that others can draw from it. Heather's incredible work has been featured in Women's World Magazine, Elle Canada, and Yahoo Finance, and she's helped countless women transform from burnout and depletion to balance and fulfillment. Heather, welcome to LifeVision Lab podcast. I am so happy you're here today with me. And Heather, I'd love to start by hearing your story. What led you to do this work, helping women in midlife and renewal and rediscover that joy that so many of us forget is possible?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I was listening to you going, wow, I sound pretty amazing. It's funny because I just did my podcast before this and I was saying, you can't see yourself from the outside.
Yeah.
So having someone reflect it to you is always so fun. So yes, I am Heather Stewart. I call myself a transformation guide because I feel like I have traveled the road and I can kind of turn back and go, come this way to help people who can't find the way. And the podcast that I have now is actually called Illuminate Your Worth, specifically to help illuminate for people where they're going. The story is always, it seems we downplay things for ourselves, right? But I was a chartered accountant, CPA. I went to university, I got the degree, I did the things I was supposed to do. I got the career. I was a finance executive. And like you said, it was like, is this what every day is going to look like now? And I just was not happy. I had all the things you were supposed to have. There was something that was saying, okay, you can go on vacations, you have all the material things you want, but that's not filling what needs to be done. I don't recommend this for everybody because it's a bit traumatizing for some people, but I quit my job. Some people just think, was she insane? But I did. I quit my job. It's becoming more common now, but 20 years ago, people didn't do this. I quit my job. I sold my house. I got divorced and I went to India. And I was thinking about this the other day. You don't need to go somewhere else to quote unquote find yourself. I needed to take myself away from the regular everyday that I had entrenched myself in. That was a good way for me to remove myself. I was there for 3 months. Some people can just take themselves somewhere in their same city and they can separate themselves. I needed to get away.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I had more clarity. It's interesting. You think that you've reached this, aha, I've got it. And you keep going and you do it, and then you have another one and you have another one. It's never done. I feel like it's never done. So I opened my own yoga studio. I've now been teaching yoga for over 20 years. I was a massage therapist. I went back to school for 2 years. It was quite intense, actually, more intense than becoming an accountant. I was treating clients. I was a personal trainer. I'm like, I'm going to help people be well. But that was all physical. Then I was helping some young massage therapists and a yoga teacher who had her own studio with their businesses. I'm like, I need to help people with business because I had the business background. I could see where they were struggling.
Right.
And I wanted these health and wellness people to be successful. I didn't want them to always be living paycheck to paycheck.
Somehow, when you're on this path, you think it's important to just focus on wellness and money. If you start focusing on money, then you're bad, right?
Well,
Back in
and
the
people have this
yeah.
idea that money is the root of all evil, and to want more makes you greedy because we have this idea that there's scarcity. And that is a false belief. There's no scarcity.
There's enough for everyone.
There is more than enough for everyone.
Yes.
We just have a distribution issue.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like what we have is a receiving issue.
Mhm.
The wellness people I worked with didn't see the value in what they did and felt it was wrong
Mhm.
to expect payment for it. As an accountant, I had this relationship with numbers that I just thought, well, why wouldn't you be
Mhm.
worth this? I was a massage therapist. I had a lawyer that I treated for a long time. She was a human rights lawyer. And one day she said to me, Heather, you should be making more, you should be making what I make. And, she was a lawyer. Massage therapists don't make what
Don't make
lawyers make.
exactly.
But she thought the world was upside down. She said, the service that you provide is so valuable
Yeah.
and it's underappreciated. And I think that's true of so many people, and not to put a dollar value on it, but they undervalue themselves
Undervalue
just
and
in what,
underestimate the value they bring to the table.
yes, because we have this weird conditioning that if you aren't being productive in some evidential way, if you say, what did you do today? And someone says nothing, you're like, what? You did nothing today? How is that contributing to society? But what if it does actually contribute to society for you to rest? We have this idea that every moment of the day, we need to be busy. We need to be producing. We need to show evidence that we're contributing, that we are having value, where some things of value are so qualitative versus
Mhm.
quantitative.
Mhm.
What kind of dollar value can you put on being happy? It's like,
You just can't. It's priceless, right? Feeling like I think my sort of midlife awakening is what I call it, because that's when I woke up, was last year when I was questioning everything around me. And I gifted myself a solo trip because, like you, I want to get away from my current environment and situation just to think better. I was questioning my life, my marriage, my worth. Am I doing what I'm meant to do? And that trip up Machu Picchu on my own, the amount I had to fight, the different mindset beliefs that came when I was climbing the altitude on my own without the people I normally depend on, right? No emotional support, no motivation, just me, myself, and I. It brought out so many things to light. I agree with you. Just having that trip for yourself can bring so many aha moments. I love that you experienced that. I had it in India because that's where I come from. So that's beautiful.
I love that you climbed Machu Picchu because I did that one as well. It is a challenging climb.
It is. It is.
It
And
is.
so a lot of my friends, my husband, my sister, everyone's like, you really haven't climbed any mountain. And I'm like, yep, I'm going to do it. And I
Why
did,
not?
right? It's all here in the mind. And so I love how you describe midlife, not really an ending, but as an invitation, a chance to come home to ourselves again. And I
Right.
have many women in my life, Heather, who are either approaching their 50s, closer to 60s. Closer to 60s means you're talking about retirement. And a lot of them have spent, and I still work in the corporate world. So for a lot of them in the corporate world is what's next for me? My life looks really empty. What am I looking forward to? I know a lot of women who keep pushing and still working without really knowing what's next for them. You can see that they're really struggling with that realization that I haven't made a plan.
Right.
And
Well, it's interesting because we never look down the road, right? Last week, I did a podcast. My topic was impermanence. When I was in India, I sat with the Dalai Lama for 5 days, and he was
Wow.
teaching at his residence, and he said, "Everything is impermanent, including impermanence," and I just went,
This is too
"What?"
much.
But, we when it even when, I'm 59, I'm like, that's not old." You know, when I was 20, I thought it was old. But
Mhm.
we don't think ahead of this idea of at some point this is gonna change.
Mhm.
People who like, I know women who their whole life was defined by raising their children and working, and then their children are gone, and they're in that disruptive, like, "I didn't think this was gonna end. This was, like, just how life was." And when you get to an end of a job, it's like, "Well, I didn't think about what I was outside of my job."
Mhm.
And it's not that you have to plan, you can just be,
Yeah.
but who are you? How do you define yourself? Do you define yourself as your work? Do you define yourself as your children? Well, that's not really defining yourself.
No,
That's just
no,
saying
that's just
something that
one
you
part of your life.
because you are a rich and unique individual with gifts and a purpose
Yes.
that maybe your whole life up to when I made my radical moves was just preparation. It's like I
Mhm.
was in school for my life. And then when I hit that phase, it's like, okay, you've learned enough lessons. Now it's time to get to work.
Right.
So it's a bit disruptive.
Mhm.
I will own that. It's disruptive. But at the same time, if a little bit of disruption, even a lot of disruption, means that once you go through it, you're so much happier and your gift is allowed to express itself, then it wasn't permanent anyway. Disruption passes, this passes, that passes.
Yes.
Just take your lessons as you move through it
I love
and you and
that. And
carry on.
and so many women reach midlife feeling pulled in different directions, right? Caring for kids, partners, aging parents, demanding careers. And then when it almost comes to that end where kids go away and at some point parents pass away, you're like, what's left in my life? How do you help them bring them back to themselves? In all that giving, they often lose touch with themselves. Why do you think it's so common for women to feel guilty about prioritizing their own needs?
Well, if you think about the role that women have always played, it's
Mhm.
the caregiver, right? And the expectations. So this is what I will say to younger women that I talk to. You teach people where your value is.
Mhm.
If you always put everyone else above you, then they are always going to put themselves above you. You are teaching your children that they're more important than you are. And you're
Mhm.
also teaching your children to do the same thing,
Right.
right? And you're teaching your partner that they are more important than you are. Women always put themselves last when you talk about order of priorities. It's been taught to us as
Mm.
babies. As babies, we thought we were the most important. I'm hungry, feed me. I'm dirty, change me. Pay attention to me. But we are taught, especially as women, that our role is to make sure everybody else is okay.
Yes.
And and we don't matter.
Right.
We are here to make sure everybody else is okay. And if you look at it from that perspective, would you ever tell your daughter that?
Mhm.
So why do you do that to yourself?
I know.
Why are you teaching your daughter by example?
And I love that you raised that, Heather, growing up. I remember as little as probably I was 10 years old, you need to learn how to do the laundry. You need to know how to keep the kitchen clean. You need to know how to cook. Because when you get married, you're going to get hungry. No one's going to be able to support you in the house. You have to learn all of this on your own. And then when you
You
get
have to take
married,
care of your husband.
exactly. And then when you get married, don't fuss around. They might say things that upset you, but that's okay. Remember, you're the glue that holds the family together. And then I think last year was that tower moment for me when I questioned everything and I challenged everything. And Heather, my husband's amazing. He's still with me, but he realized that I was having that transformational moment. And of course, he's Indian. He's also been conditioned with a lot of this growing up.
Oh,
Both of
yeah.
us then put in the effort to say, okay, let's just expand our containers to have space for each other and reimagine and relive and sort of invent ourselves. But it wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have challenged it, because there was this quiet
Right.
conditioning that kept us going, and it worked really well for him, right? Why not? Like you said, if you always prioritize your child, your friends, your husband, your parents, they're going to love it. So I think I love that you raised that point, because a lot of people need to hear this to say it's not wrong to question and ask people to give you space to be the priority, right?
Imagine if you hadn't questioned it, or if there's people who are living that, taking care of everyone, and you are the glue. That's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Who supports you?
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens when mom gets sick? The whole family goes to hell, right?
Yes.
Like, s- dad's ordering pizza and the house is a mess
Mm-hmm.
because they don't know what to do. Think of that if you took that to a business. If the CEO got sick, does the whole business stop?
No.
So why does a whole family unit stop if mom gets sick? That indicates there's not a partnership. It's not like one is more important than the other, although you are the most important person in your life because you are the only person who's with you your whole life. Even on the airplane, you put on your oxygen mask first. You take care of yourself first so you can take care of other people. But
Yes.
in a family unit, if there's partnership, where, I'll take care of this if you take care of that. And you might decide on a division of roles. That doesn't mean that it's the only way that life has to be. It's
Mhm.
like, I'm coming home late tonight. Can you make dinner? Yeah, no problem. Or I need some time to myself tonight. Can you put the kids to bed and empty the dishwasher? Having that give and take, because
Yes.
sometimes your partner needs support, sometimes you need support, sometimes they need time, sometimes both of you should be allowed to make your well-being your priority. You don't have to make everybody else's well-being your priority.
Mhm.
You can support them, but don't fix them. Tell them how to
I
take care of
love that you
themselves.
say, Heather, forget as much as we keep talking, even me, as I go through this transformation, there are times I still forget and you default to your old programming and you get guilty and over sort of compensate sometimes when you're not available to do certain things you thought you could. What's that one mindset shift you encourage people like me and everybody going through this transformation make when that guilt shows up?
So if guilt shows up, there's a source of the guilt, right? So what is your source? Where does that guilt come from?
Hmm.
What are you feeling guilty about?
That I've not done enough,
Why?
that I prioritize myself over doing stuff at home.
And why is that?
Mm. And that's the conditioning again, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like you ask yourself, why is this here? I'm not perfect. I'm still learning my life lessons as well. And that's what makes life exciting. But if I see something happen, like a feeling, and I actually talk it out with my partner as well. I'm like, wow, I feel this right now.
Hmm.
If I tell him, because, men are very good at problem solvers. If I say, I don't want you to solve this, I just want you to listen right now. He'll try to just listen. I'll just say, I'm feeling this right now. I wonder what that is. Where is that coming from? Is that an old story that I've been telling myself about? I did a podcast episode once called Stop Shoulding All Over Yourself. Should is implying that you are not enough already.
Hmm.
Right. And you are enough already, and you're doing what you can with what you have and what you know at this time. Doesn't mean you can't question, doesn't
Hmm.
mean you can't shift, doesn't mean you can't change your belief systems.
Hmm.
But where you are right now, you say, what is this thing?
Hmm.
And then you keep asking why, because the top level why isn't usually the answer,
Mm.
right? You need to usually go down a
Deeper.
few layers.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a powerful reframe, Heather. And that replenishment isn't selfish, it's sacred, right?
If you let yourself burn out, like we just said, when mom's sick, Or if you can't leave your job for 2 days because you're sick, if everything falls apart when you step away or you think it's going to fall apart, sometimes it's just your belief that it is. The universe might do it for you. I had a stroke in 2021 and I was in the hospital for 4 days, actually. 3 days were in ER because I couldn't get in bed in the hospital. But I had to stop everything. I had this, "Oh my goodness, what am I gonna do?" My clients I'm messaging my clients, are like, "Heather, you're in the hospital, of course, no problem." I'm messaging my family, they're like, "But you're the healthiest person we know. What do you mean you're in the hospital?" So and then because what my lesson was, because I had a conversation earlier with one of my clients, she said she reframed it as the positive things and the things she's working on that she wishes were different. I would have not been in the hospital if I didn't have to be. And at one point, I'd been in there for about 12 or 13 hours. I thought, okay, so I am in the hospital. They know, they say, yes, you've had 2 strokes. I'm like, okay. So then I had to reframe. Instead of being upset, I was like, what is the lesson here that I'm. So I was being forced to take time away from life to gain a perspective. I know a lady who was working, working, working. She worked for a not-for-profit. She broke her ankle and had to stop doing everything, right? I was in the hospital. I had to stop doing a whole bunch of things and pause for some quiet time. Sometimes the universe gives you your quiet time. And that's when actually, because I started with physical wellness and I went to business wellness. After my stroke, I was like, nope, it's even bigger than that. It's the whole person. What is going on with that person? Because they're all interconnected. We want to make sure that we can get a bigger perspective of how that person is meant to be in this world, to feel free and happy and peaceful and joyful and fulfilled. All of those words that we like.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Heather. Must have been, it's such a hard place to be in when you have a stroke and you're hospitalized. Someone who's always been independent and healthy and really thriving.
Think about like heart attacks are people's wake up call that they need to take care of their health. And we often think of these physical things as a signal to take care of our physical health. Our bodies are our vehicles. When we're not taking our self care, it's going to show up as a physical thing, but it can show up as a mental thing too. It can show up as emotional incontinence. I would just start crying. You know, a Kleenex commercial on television and I could be crying. I'm like, really, this is not life shattering. But it's like a signal that you're full other people's stuff instead of yourself. It's okay to be full of yourself. I'm not using that in the conceited, self-aggrandizing way. It's more like full of myself, as full of my energy that I can radiate outwards.
And so you often say, keep your own well full so that others can draw on it. Can you share what that really looks like in everyday life? Maybe give an example from your coaching or your own personal journey.
So one of my favorite things to say is everyone's an experiment of one. So what works for one person, I always say, try it and see if it works. Clients would come to me with these things. I'm like, I'll try it. I'll see what happens. You try it too. I have a morning meditation practice every single morning before anybody is up, before anything's going on. I get up, have a cup of tea, and sit on my meditation cushion. Depending on my day, sometimes it's 10 minutes, but I like to have a half an hour at least. I give myself the grace that sometimes there's other things happening, other influencing factors. And I also make sure I get enough sleep. Sleep is so valuable. So for me, self-care isn't going to get a mani-pedi. It's not going to the spa day, although I do like those things. But it's practices that I have found that make me feel peaceful.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's simple, as you said, as waking up intentionally, meditating, and sleeping enough. So many of us are deprived of sleep. because of
Yeah.
hustle culture and productivity.
Before I would tell anybody to have a meditation practice, if I thought it would be helpful for them, I would make sure that the number one thing is sleep.
Mm.
Even as a personal trainer,
Mhm.
helping people get stronger, if you haven't got enough sleep, the stress that I'm going to put on your muscles
Mm.
is more stress than your body needs,
Mhm.
even though we know you have to stress the muscles to make them bigger.
Mhm.
It's just not helpful
Mm.
to work out when you're already in a depleted state.
Mm. Meditation, sleep, anything else?
I have actually have a client who one day, because she takes care of a lot of things, she's a bit older. She was getting stressed and feeling like very anxious. So she schedules 1 day a week. She only does a half a day, one half of a day, whatever she wants.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be a whole half day if that's not, going to work for you. But it's like a chunk of time. I actually do this myself in my business. Every day, there's a block of time in my calendar. It says CEO time, but really it's just time for me to do nothing,
Yes.
right? I'm not having meetings. I'm not
Mhm.
clearing emails. I'm not going to do anything. I might sit on my balcony and
Just look
look
out.
at the trees,
And that's
right?
so powerful.
But it's allowing yourself the space to do nothing
Mhm.
and fitting it into your day. So people will say, well, meditating is doing nothing. Not really.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Meditating is active. Doing nothing is still active. So when people say, well, I don't know what to do, I ask people to daydream.
Yeah.
So your self-care routine could be as simple as set a timer if you need to, stare out the window
Mhm.
and daydream,
Mhm.
because that doesn't take any instructions.
I
We know
love,
how to daydream.
I love,
Daydreaming is such a powerful tool.
yes. And you need to be a little delusional to manifest some big things in life.
Yeah,
I agree with
exactly.
you. I love that because so often we think rest, stillness is indulgence or lazy, right? We just come up with these labels, but you're reminding us that it's actually what keeps everything else sustainable.
Yeah. And since the Industrial Revolution, that's a
Mhm.
very Industrial Revolution mindset that we've placed on people. Like, you need to be doing something. You need to be doing something. No, you don't. Not all the time. We're not built that way.
So let's talk about some of the tools or rituals that help women to start to replenish. I know you gave three very important ones that we
Mhm.
can, and that's really easy if we start really actively working towards making it part of our life. Start with 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and go from there. But if someone listening right now is feeling completely drained, where should they begin? Because I've been at points in life, Heather, if you would have said this to me, like do nothing, meditate, sleep, she doesn't know what's going on in my life, but I can't do any of those. So, what would you
Right.
say people who experience that, where should they begin?
So you need to find, and maybe you need someone to help you do it, a step back
Mm-hmm.
to get a view of, because there's probably some stuff in your life that's actually good.
Mm.
There's probably things that are working. There's probably one, maybe two things that are causing this drain, and we
Mhm,
need to figure out where it is.
mhm,
I do these aligned activation conversations where I'm just asking a series of questions
mhm,
and we go through it. I actually did one recently where she thought that all of her stress was coming from one part of her life.
mhm,
But we realized there was this pattern and it was coming from somewhere else. But
mm,
this is where the symptom was.
mhm,
So it's like stepping back from your life. And maybe you just need to take 2 minutes and
mhm,
write down
mhm,
these are the things that are not working right now.
mhm.
Like you've got somewhere inside of you, you know what's not working. So you can just say, none of it's working, and just throw your hands up. But that's not going to help you move out of it. You
So,
can have a temper tantrum. I'm down with emotional expression.
mhm.
Have do it. And then sit down
Have a
and say,
brain dump,
what's not working
right?
and what is working?
Mhm.
And say, okay, so these things are working. Then you look at the things that aren't working and say, what is it in there? Having someone to talk to is so helpful because they ask questions that you haven't thought of. So say you're frustrated and tired at work. which is a common thing. It's like, do you like your work?
Mm-hmm.
Do you enjoy your work?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a specific project? Is it a person? Is it a situation? Maybe it is the work itself. Maybe it's the environment. I had a client who came to me because she had gained a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
When I went through this process with her, it wasn't her weight that was the problem, it was her job.
Mm-hmm.
She loved her work, but the place she was working didn't value her. And so she was feeling undervalued and overworked and always trying to prove that she was valuable. And she was working a lot and not taking care of herself.
Mm-hmm.
So she gained weight. She thought her problem was weight gain.
Need something
So
deeper.
I worked with her to find a job with a company that loves her, and then everything took care of itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you if you can step out of everything, write down, recognize the things that are working well,
Mm-hmm.
look at the things that aren't working well and figure out why isn't that working?
Mm-hmm.
What about that isn't working? What about that is causing me stress and overwhelm? Is there someone who can help me?
Mm-hmm.
Because we as women think we have to do it all ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't. You don't have to do it all yourself. It's not a quick fix. It's a realigning of your life to serve you.
It's not a destination.
We have this weird society where we stand in front of microwaves and yell because they're too slow. What is your big rush? You know what the finish line is, right?
And I love that. It's so doable what you're saying. Like, even today, someone listening can go and just open a book and start writing down what is it that's draining them and what is it that's really working well in their lives. Not
You don't have
about,
to show anybody.
right. And it's not about overhauling your life overnight, but making small intentional choices that add
And
up.
it's also not about judging,
Mhm.
like not giving yourself a hard time that this is here now. Maybe there's an important reason that you're in this situation right now,
Mhm.
that there's a lesson for you in this.
Mhm.
So be open to that. But don't give yourself a hard time. Just say, okay, I don't want this right now. Let's change it.
I love that. And so when women begin to truly put themselves first, what shifts do you see in their relationships, their sense of purpose, and the way they move through life? I want to hear from you.
Right. Think about self respect, right?
Mhm.
I value myself. Some people, I'm gonna be honest, are not gonna be liking that too much.
Mhm.
You know, they may choose to depart because they're not getting what they used to get from you, but also because when you change something, that asks them to look at themselves. Not everybody's ready to do that.
Mm.
Be okay that your relationships are going to shift. Trust that the relationships that stay are going to be amazing
Mhm.
because you respect yourself, they respect you, you respect them. You
Mm.
support each other. It's a community of support that you end
Mhm.
up with, right? When you respect yourself, your colleagues respect you. Everything is so intertwined. When you respect and take care of yourself, you feel physically better because you are taking better care of yourself. You will feel taller
Mhm.
because you will carry yourself as a valuable human being. Everyone is valuable and life has more joy in it. You attract what you put out. I like to radiate confidence, joy, acceptance, and love, and that's what comes back to me.
Mm.
It's funny because today's podcast that I just recorded was you can only see what you can see. If I'm out there looking at and only seeing negative things, well, what filter am I looking through, right?
Mhm.
There's good things and there's things that we would like to be different.
And I can attest, Heather, when I really shook my life up last year and challenged everything, it was my process of trying to understand at the age of 40 what I want my life to look like. It's a game changer. You do stand tall, you feel prettier, you become your own best friend. So you stop relying on people around you to show up because you're showing up for yourself. There's a lot out there that talks about raising your vibration and frequency. My intention with this podcast, Heather, is to make it real, to make it doable, because not everybody understands what do you mean raise frequency, and they get into this toxic positivity sort of cycle.
Yeah.
So I love that you're saying have a temper tantrum, have a temper tantrum. We need to be okay with those big emotions that come out of us, because from there You need to sit down and say, okay, what's next for me?
Emotions are information.
Yes.
They're not bad, they're not good, they're information on what's happening. So
Mhm.
if you're mad, ooh, that's interesting. There must be something that's not the way I want it to be.
Mhm. And you deeply care about something, and it's not the way you
Yeah.
want it to be, right? And so we get lost in just the surface and we don't go deeper. And I think that you really highlight that point. And so, for someone who's maybe listening right now and thinking, is it too late for me? What would you want her to know?
No, it's never too late. I have clients in their 70s. I heard about a woman who passed away recently and she became a fashion model in her
Mhm.
90s.
Wow.
Yeah. And she wrote a book in her 90s. She was just living her life and her truth. And then suddenly someone went, "We want you to be our model." She's like, "Yeah, okay, no problem." When is it too late? When you transition. But
Yes.
even then, you can come and have a do over. Don't wait.
I love that. And that's such a healing reminder that it's never too late. And thank you for giving that example. It's never too late to choose yourself. Heather, this has been such a nourishing conversation. You've given us all the permission to slow down, refill our well, and remember that we can't pour from an empty cup. Where can listeners find you and learn more about your work?
So you can, it's easy. Heatherstewart.coach is my website.
Mhm.
And if you are interested in the alignment activation, that's not on the website. You have to send me an email, info@heatherstewart.coach.
And I'll drop it, all the details in the description box below. So
Mhm.
for the viewers, it's going to be easier to reach out to you. Much for
You.
joining me today and for the beautiful work you're doing in the world. And to everyone listening, if this episode touched your heart, please share it with another woman who gives so much of herself to everybody. Because every time one of us chooses replenishment over burnout, that ripple of compassion expands far beyond us. Until next time, take a deep breath, refill your well, and remember the most selfless thing you can do is take care of yourself. You.
Thank you.